Hello, everybody. I am so glad that you tuned in today to do our activity, the Little Mermaid shell necklace. We are here today to make a shell necklace, and I hope you got your bag. And if you did not get your bag, there is actually 5 more of these left here at the library. You can come in and get them. And if not, all you're going to need in the supplies are some shells. I will show you some twine, necklaces, and tape and scissors. That's all you're going to need for today. So today we are learning about the Little Mermaid. And I bet most of you think about Disney's Little Mermaid. And I'm actually choosing to read this story to you today. But I'm going to tell you about the actual author of The Little Mermaid, and I wanted to tell you his name is Hans Christian Andersen, and he wrote many fairy tales. He is a Danish author, and The Little Mermaid was written in 1837. Well, it was published in 1837. And Hans Christian Andersen was born in 1805. He died in 1875. And he was approximately 32 years old when The Little Mermaid was published. And it was in a collection of stories that was called Fairy Tales for Young Children. I think a collection of that. Some of his other fairy tales you might be familiar with are The Ugly Duckling, and some of my favorites are, I love The Little Match Girl, and I also really like The Steadfast Tin Soldier. Sometimes we just say The Tin Soldier. It's a great story. And also The Princess and the Pea. That was another one by Hans Christian Andersen. At the library here, we have, these are 2 of the library books of The Little Mermaid, the Disney version and a version of Hans Christian Andersen's. And then you can also check out some of his other fairy tale collections. These are 2 books also at the library here. You're welcome to come in and check out. And there's several, The Emperor's New Clothes. I forgot about that one. That's a great story that I love. So you can check out some of these here at the library when you come in. And if you didn't get a bag of The Little Mermaid, you can pick that up also. But there's only 5. You have to come in and get them before they're gone. So today I am Miss Liz the Mermaid, and I wanted to tell you about the original story first. Is not like Disney's. There's similarities, but this one maybe doesn't end as well as what we anticipate as far as with The Little Mermaid. The Little Mermaid's name is not Ariel in the original story. Disney gave her that name. And the second thing is she does not marry her prince that she so wants. There are 6 daughters to the king, the Mer King, and on their 15th birthday, they are allowed to go up to the surface of the ocean and see it. So those are the same, and she falls in love with a prince who's on a ship. And he's actually 16 years old in Hans Christian's story. And she rescues him from the sea wreckage, and he remembers her, but he doesn't remember her, and he ends up meeting another girl after she's introduced. She sees a sea witch, she gets to go get legs, it's very painful, and then she ends up being like a pet to him almost, and then he meets a princess in another kingdom where he falls in love with her, and they get married, and she ends up not getting to marry her prince. But you'll have to read the end to see with your moms and dads, or yourself if you're a little older. So today I'm reading The Little Mermaid from the Disney collection, because that's what most people think of with The Little Mermaid. I'm going to read it, and I'll show you some of the pictures. Okay. Anyway, here we go. Disney's The Little Mermaid. Under the sea, merfolks hurried toward King Triton's palace. Everyone wanted a good seat for the concert. The merfolk watched as Sebastian, the court composer, signaled for the music to begin. 6 of King Triton's daughters sang and swirled around the stage to the sounds of the underwater orchestra. Tonight, King Triton's youngest daughter, Ariel, would sing her first solo, but when the giant clamshell opened, Ariel was nowhere to be seen. "Ariel!" bellowed King Triton. Nearby, Ariel had forgotten about the concert. She and her friend Flounder were swimming around a sunken ship. Ariel loved looking for things from the human world above. "It's wonderful," she cried, finding a shiny fork. Did you hear something?" asked Flounder. "You're not getting cold fins, are you?" teased Ariel. Then Flounder spotted a large, dark shape swimming right toward them. "Shark!" he yelled. The 2 friends swam as fast as they could, but the shark could swim faster. So Ariel whisked Flounder through a small hole in an anchor. The hungry shark followed them and got stuck. "Take that, you bully!" yelled Flounder. Ariel brought her new treasure to Scuttle, the seagull. "Oh, this is a dingle hopper," said Scuttle, combing his feathers with the fork. "Humans use these to straighten their hair." Deep below, the sea witch, Ursula, was gazing into her magic bubble, spying. Suddenly, Ariel remembered the concert. She hurried home to find King Triton waiting for her. Oh, he was angry about the ruined concert, but even angrier when he learned that Ariel had taken a trip to the surface. "Never go to the surface again," he said. Later, the king told Sebastian, "Ariel needs supervision, and you are just the crab to do it." Meanwhile, Ariel was daydreaming in her secret grotto. "I don't see how a world that makes such wonderful things could be bad," she said. The prince. Ariel looked up and saw the shadow of a ship overhead. She swam to the surface to get a closer look. There she saw a handsome young man. The other humans called him Prince Eric. "Hurricane a-comin'!" a sailor shouted. Howling wind tore the ship's sails. Giant waves tossed it into the jagged rocks. Prince Eric was thrown into the ocean. Oh, Ariel frantically searched for the prince. Finding him, she needed all her strength to rescue him. Safe on the shore, Ariel sang to the unconscious prince, and at last he began to waken. "Oh, someday I'll be part of your world," she said, slipping into the sea. Minutes later, the prince's servant, Sir Grimsby, discovered him. "A girl rescued me," said the prince groggily, "and she had the most beautiful voice." When King Triton found out that Ariel had been up to the surface again, he flew into a rage. "Humans are all the same," King Triton shouted. "Savage fish eaters, incapable of any feeling." With a few strokes of his trident, he destroyed all of Ariel's treasures and then swam off. He was very mad. 2 sinister eels interrupted Ariel's sobbing. We were sent by someone," they hissed, "who can make all your dreams come true." The eels brought Ariel to Ursula. The sea witch was willing to help Ariel in exchange for her, do you remember, her voice. "But," Ursula added, "the prince must fall in love with you by sunset on the 3rd day. If not, Ariel would change back into a mermaid and become Ursula's slave forever." The ocean churned as Ariel's voice was captured. inside a magical shell, and her tail turned into legs. Prince Eric and his dog Max found Ariel on the beach. You seem very familiar to me, said Eric. Have we met? Ariel could only nod, as she had no voice. Don't worry, I'll help you, he smiled. Although she looked like the girl who rescued him, Eric didn't think it could be her. She couldn't speak, so she couldn't sing. That evening, Ariel appeared for dinner in a pretty gown. To the prince's surprise, Ariel picked up her fork and began combing her hair with it, just as Scuttle had taught her. Under the sea, a worried King Triton had not been able to find Ariel. Leave no shell unturned until she's safe at home, he told his servants. Meanwhile, Ariel and Eric were happily rowing on a lagoon, just as they were about to share a kiss. Ursula's eels overturned the boat. Now we have Ursula's plan. Uh-oh. Ursula hatched a plan to keep Eric from falling in love with Ariel. She turned herself into a pretty girl named Vanessa, and she wore the shell containing Ariel's voice. That evening, the prince heard someone singing. It was the voice of the girl who had saved him. Eric looked out to see Vanessa. He fell under her wicked spell. When Ariel woke the next morning, she saw Eric with Vanessa. The wedding ship departs at sunset, the prince told Grimsby. Now Ariel had lost her chance at true love and was doomed to be Ursula's slave forever. Aboard the ship, Vanessa cackled. Triton's daughter will be mine! Looking through the porthole, Scuttle saw the mirror reveal that Vanessa was really Ursula. He quickly found Ariel. The prince is marrying the sea witch in disguise, he exclaimed. Oh, find a way to stall that wedding, Sebastian yelled to Scuttle as they took off to rescue Eric. Flounder helped Ariel along, but the sun was starting to set. Wasn't much time. Remember, the third day, they had to fall in love, or she was a sea witch's slave. Scuttle and his friends did their best to interrupt the wedding. Why, you little, Vanessa yelled, trying to defend herself. Sorry? In all the commotion, the magic shell that was around Vanessa's neck shattered on the ground just as Ariel reached the ship. Eric, spoke Ariel. You can talk, said the prince. You're the one. It was you all this time. Happy at last, the prince leaned over to give Ariel a kiss. But it was too late. The sun was setting. You're too late, shouted Ursula, turning into her beastly self. Ariel found her legs changed back into a mermaid's tail. It's not you I'm after, said Ursula to Ariel, whisking her into the sea. I've got a much bigger fish to fry. At those words, King Triton appeared. Ursula told him about the deal she made with Ariel. In return for his daughter's freedom, the king agreed to take Ariel's place instead. At last, this is mine! Ursula laughed, placing Triton's crown on her head. Using her new powers, Ursula grew to a monstrous size. Now I will rule all the ocean! But the brave prince steered a ship over the raging waves right toward Ursula. Slowly, Ursula's horrendous body sank beneath the waves. All at once, the ocean was calm, and King Triton's power was restored. Now he realized how much Eric and Ariel loved each other. He changed Ariel's tail back into legs. I love you, Daddy, said Ariel, hugging him. He knew he would miss her terribly. All the merfolk and sea creatures gathered to watch the couple's wedding. Everyone cheered as Eric kissed his new princess. Then they sailed away to live happily ever after. The end. And that was Disney's rendition of Hans Christian Andersen's The Little Mermaid. So, if you're ready to sit with me, and we will make our shell necklaces. The size of the shells are not this size. They're teeny tiny, so they're super cute. Okay, so in your bag, get your bag out. And if you didn't get a bag, remember you could come to the library and get it. We have, I did put a paper in there for you, a couple ones that if you wanted to tie a different way that I'm going to show you. I'm just doing a knot. So you could have had a chance to look over that. And you have a baggie with some shells, and there's pre-holes drilled in those already. So you want to get those out. If you want, I did not use scissors for mine. I cut there's a pair of scissors for later if you need, and some tape. So what I did was I took the shell out of the, well, you don't have, I'm not going to, but I dumped the shells out of the bag onto the table if I can. And I took the string and I just put it in half like this, okay? And just made it even. And then I just twisted a top there. And then you can, what I did was I made kind of a slip knot. So you kind of just wrap it. It's going to be, I just wrap it around once on the back side and then come through the hole, which is going to be hard for you to see, but it's not necessary. You just tie a knot, make it a little opening there. But I did a slip knot because I can tighten it how I want then. Okay. And I put it way at the top. So when you tighten it, it just does that. Okay. And of course, so then I had it. And then I just, you can kind of twist it because it's able to do that. So you have a little opening. So when you put the necklace on, you can draw it a little tight and reopen it so you can not have to cut it off. That's the goal. If not, you can just leave a little bit of an opening and it'll hook enough on there. You can do that. So you can take some tape or masking tape, scotch tape or whatever, and tape it onto your table if you like. And what I did was I just I made a knot. That's all I did. Just tied it in a knot and then left it a little loose. And then I just tied another knot. I'm not taping mine to the table so I can hold it up so you can see. Okay, and then I made another knot. And I made another knot. And I just kept making little knots to drop it down where I wanted to do a shell. That's it, see? Like a bunch of little knots. And then, so if you can see, it kind of looks like a chain. You can tie them tighter so they're not open as much, but this is like a hemp rope, so it's really easy to work with and do what you like. And then there's I don't know, I think I put like 8 to 10 or so shells in each person's bag, and you don't have to use all of them. If you just want 3 shells on there, you can. But you just take your first shell, and there's a pre-drilled hole in there. And so you can see the hole. Lean forward, you can see. I'm sure when you hold up your shell, you can see it. If you do not get a bag, don't worry. You can get these shells probably, Amazon, Walmart, Discount School Supply, places like that. Online, anywhere online, I'm sure you can find these little shells. and you can use any shell you want. So I take one end, that's what I'm doing, and I just bring it in there. So it's just dangling in there. And then I take the string and I put it inside the kind of the opening where it's like, so then I can tie a knot on the bottom of the shell so it holds it in place. There. And then you just tie it on there and then pull it together. Show you. This is kind of an easy, I just untied it, which you might do that too. So I tied it and then untied it. So there, I just have the shell in there. And then you have your first shell. There you go. And then I tie another knot. I just keep tying more knots till I want my next shell spot to go in. And putting it inside the shell helps keep it so it's not going to keep coming loose. Unless you want it to dangle and not lay sideways. Do it however you like. That's the neat thing. And you can use different shells. You can add beads to it. If you had some beads at home and you want to put some beads in there with it, you can do that. I did not think of that till just now. So I could have added some beads to it. And then you just keep tying knots and a knot. And the paper I have shows different ways to tie knots. I think it's just simple, especially if we have little hands, to just do like a chain, almost like a chain. And then just keep doing a knot. And then doing another knot. And then get your next shell. Okay, you ready to get your next shell? I like these holes worked really, really well, I thought. They were just the right size to fit this hemp twine in. I say that and then I this one there. And then just pull it through. Now, if the end starts to get a little frayed, you can clip it, or you can put a tiny piece of Scotch tape, really, really tiny around it to keep it. I didn't have a problem, but I'm an adult, so I had more practice. It's harder for kids. You might need your mom to help you string it through, okay? And then see, I just put the shell right back in, and then the string, if you go through the outside and then down through the inside, and then tie another knot. And then there. Then just keep making a knot. It's really good if you're younger, it helps you practice even for tying your shoe, getting ready to tie your shoes. Because that's the first part of tying your shoe. You wrap it around like that. So this is good practice too. Some of you older kids can try different types of knots where you can use like 4 strands and 3 strands, or do braiding like you braid with 3 strands. You can braid with 4 strands. We're just doing it simple today. So this is something you can continue to do. Okay, we're going to get our next shell to put on there. Going through the outside and into the inside. So the string can lay across the inside so it kind of catches. And these are going to be very, very pretty. And I hope you'll come into the library, check out some of these books, and wear your necklace you made so I can see it. And if you can't get into the library or you want to do curbside, then go ahead and send a picture of your necklace you made, or just make a comment under here and say that made the necklace, and you'll be coming in to show me. So I'm just so glad, I really am glad you came to do this with me today. I love spending time with you. I know you're in your home or in a friend's house or grandma and grandpa's, and I'm here, but I feel like we're together still. I love that. So we're going to put one more shell on, and then I'm going to kind of let you finish because you can do it however you like, and I'll show you how I ended it, how I tied it, so that way you know how it was tied. It is. Okay. So keep making knots and putting shells on, making knots and putting shells on. And when I tied it, what I did was at the end, I made it all the way to the end, and I just made a big knot. I just made a big knot. So I had made a different one ahead of time. I took my daughter Evie's package. So I just made a big knot at the one end, and I have a loop at the other end. You can see it. I'll just, okay. And so then when you go to put the necklace on, or if you prefer a bracelet, you can do a bracelet too. And I just was able to just get through the big knot, and if you have a slit knot, it'll tighten. But you still might want mom or dad to help you put it on or take it off. And so that's how I did it. Like this. Oops. I have too much hair in the back. I can't get it on there. It's getting stuck in my hair. But anyway, so there, that's how I did it. And then it hung around your neck, and it wasn't going to choke you, and you didn't tie it on there. I would not tie it onto your neck. That is not how you should wear a necklace, because you want to be able to take it off and not cut it off. And you don't want it to choke you. Okay, so you want to be very careful with that. And there you go. And another thing is, if you don't want to wear it, you could give it to a friend, or you could make some for your mom or grandma or an aunt or somebody special, or people in the nursing home, you can make them necklaces and send it to them, and so they feel loved. Those are nice things to do. So that is the end of our time today, and I just want to thank you so much for coming, and please send me pictures or make comments. And I'm glad you tuned in to the Plymouth Public Library. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Bye.